All my days is about to start, you know.
I'm alarmed. Welcome back to another one. I'm currently, I'm saying, sucking on a multivitamin. Why for sucking? But yeah, your boys, I'm G for Junior. We're back on another reaction video. The Louaista reaction video. I'm saying, as usual, how you man been, man? Love for 60 subscribers. Like, yeah, I really appreciate you guys. I've got two more goals that we could possibly hit before the end of the year. It is currently the 1st of December, so let's see how crazy we can go in 1 month. But yeah, today's video is the fall of New York drill. It's quite sad, but I'm saying it's life, man. People move on and that. So yeah, let's get straight into it. You know me, I don't like to waste you lot's time. So yeah, time to lock in.
It's undeniable that New York was the birthplace of hip-hop, and for a long time, it was the
Oh,
epicenter
is
of
it?
that cultural world. In fact, it wasn't until the 90s rise of the West Coast that this dominance was even challenged. But as the West lost steam and the Dirty South rose, New York, once the heart of hip-hop, started to fade into the background. And as the culture's former hub struggled to regain its footing, everyone pointed fingers at everyone else, with Mano saying,
You couldn't be mad at a ASAP Rocky for getting on and saying that he was influenced by Houston music.
and Joe Budden arguing,
Me and 50 are the end of New York. Me and that my signing, the 50 signing, after that,
Who's bro?
it was the South. That was Walk It Out came out, and I'm blaming 50 and Ebro. I think both of them in combination killed it. Hey, you hear all the Atlanta saying, they laugh at us. It's all that unity shit. In New York, though, nah, that wasn't the case back then. Ebro wasn't playing nobody in New York. ASAP Rocky has to feel like that. Know why? Ebro wasn't playing no ASAP Rocky. They was looking everywhere else but New York.
sadly, those old vets would be stuck reminiscing about the good old days and trying to assess what went wrong. And while they were all waiting around to find a new star to be given the torch, a new sound ignited the East Coast and put the Empire State back on the map. The music was New York drill, and for a long time,
Those
it
days,
seemed
man.
primed to take over the world. But as engaging as the music was, it came with a whole lot of baggage that threatened to derail it all at a moment's notice.
Drill rap, the latest evolution in hip-hop's 50-year history in New York City. But it's often been linked to violence. And just yesterday, a popular drill rapper known as Chef G was one of 32 gang members charged in a string of violence that left one person dead and dozen others injured. But some are trying to change the perception of drill rap.
And unfortunately, the worst has happened. Because now, the momentum has all but withered away to nothing. Due to a
Alright, this was for one's chance to finally be on the thumbnail of a Louaista video. I don't know why Louaista didn't add them. At least one of them in it. But it's not that evil. I'm
array
just
of
saying.
circumstances and tragic
Hopefully for one
mishaps
get their
that
own
either
video.
cut careers short, or sadly, even people's time on Earth. And it wouldn't be the last time New York drill saw its brightest stars cut down before they could shine. Across the course of its history, this drill scene has been unfortunately defined by promising artists not being able to make the most of their hype through adverse circumstances. And unfortunately, this goes all the way back to the man who first brought the subgenre to commercial prominence.
Doesn't set New York back.
Yo,
We
who
still
did?
created hip hop. We still have Sedgwick. We're Bobby
Oh.
Shmurda. Bobby Shmurda be home soon.
Back in 2014, when Hot first dropped,
Oh, so it was Bobby
became a
Shmurda.
global phenomenon. The track earned him a major deal with Epic Records, and at the time, it looked like he had unlimited potential. But that momentum was cut short when a RICO case sent not only Bobby, but his entire GS9 crew to prison. Even then, he built goodwill after taking a plea deal that gave him more time behind bars, so Rowdy Rebel could come home earlier. When he
Real
finally
nigga
came out
shit.
the penitentiary, Bobby's street credibility made his streams skyrocket by more than 624%.
Damn.
Yet instead of building on that hype, his comeback fell flat. Allegations, weak records, and underwhelming performances dragged his name down to the point where he couldn't even sell out small venues and had to cancel his entire tour. Now, with his career nearing wreckage, Bobby has turned to blaming everyone but himself.
We got a mini tour coming up. I'm gonna be releasing soon. I want y'all to get ready for that. And I also want to apologize to all the blogs. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I shot somebody's sister when I was growing up. I don't know if I shot somebody's brother. I don't know if I robbed somebody when I was growing up. But this week, and the next week, I'm gonna be posting a lot of things that we're gonna be doing, and I do want some support from the blogs. Not that support that
What's being blurred?
the all the support that I'm getting from, like,
Hickey?
academics, No Jumper, Angelina, Jolie, whatever the name is. You know what I'm saying?
I'm so confused.
The point blank, yeah, they hating. But listen. I just want this to say, I'm be dropping a lot of music, right? And the point that don't support what I'm doing, but they support all the bullshit that going on, all the fake shit that doing.
Hitting your goals has nothing to do with discipline. The real culprit is friction, and it slowly erodes your progress.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Since then, the man who got famous for blatantly discussing real crimes is now turning against hip-hop culture and claiming it's damaging to society.
And when these kids are following you guys and you're rapping about these lifestyles, it's in danger. It's very detrimental. You know what I'm saying? It's very dangerous to the communities that these little kids think that is going on, that you did not even live. I think rap's supposed to be telling motherfuckers to go from negative to positive, coming from poverty to going to riches or stuff like that. And
Rags to riches.
Know how to change. That's the shit I want to hear. I want to hear about living life. That's why I don't listen to rap. For real, I don't listen to rap.
Although hip-hop is supposed to provide that aspirational rags to riches story, there are way too many modern examples where this isn't something that can be sustained. And while Bobby at least still has the outside chance of redeeming himself, the legacy of his brothers are now in the hands of their estates.
Rest in peace to the Pac, let him smoke.
Here we have none other than the late great Pop Smoke. For a brief moment, Pop Smoke looked like
this guy was gonna be the next 50 Cent. This guy was gonna be a legend. This guy was gonna take over. Pop Smoke, XXX, Juice WRLD. These three were going to be the next Drake, Kendrick, J. Cole, bro. In terms of domination. Oh man, all three of them died. That's crazy. Bro, shit like that is scary, man. Like, genuinely, these guys are going to be great. They're still legends in their own right, but they would have been 400 times. R.I.P. to all of them.
His gruff, unmistakable voice and natural superstar swag.
Like, the nigga could sing as well.
Made it
like,
clear
bro.
He had something special. Tracks like Dior and Welcome to the Party were ringing out worldwide when tragedy struck. Just a week after Meet the Woo 2 peaked at number 7 on the charts, Pop Smoke was killed in a Hollywood Hills Airbnb during a botched robbery. Overnight, New York drill lost its brightest star, and without him, the scene scrambled for a replacement, leading to imitators like Dusty Locane, whose career became defined by constant comparisons to Pop.
Long live Pop Smoke, greatest to do it. You know that. You entitled to your opinion. You don't know me. It's just if you believe that, stick to that. Don't switch when you see that I'm up. You feel me? I'm living better. I'm doing better. If you believe that at some point in time I'm trying to be somebody or whatever the case may be. Elementary mostly, he left around 5th grade, 66. Anybody who
you just got a deep voice like him.
We used to do like growing up, me, Mikey, Stag, Ace, all of us. You feel me? Went to that same school. So Pop got lit. I didn't try to. I grew up with him. I know him. Cause I feel like you gotta give people that's his shit.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I feel like that's an attack.
Damn, he grew up with Pop Smoke, like went to same school and that. Nah, but that's real, like. That's real, like. You get me? I don't even know what the word is, but you knew someone, they've blown up. But you want to do this, like, you want to obviously venture into the same business, but you just didn't say, oh, that's my boy, I grew up with him. You just did your own thing, let him shine. That's cool.
I gotta get attached because I knew him. You know, that wasn't really my butt.
But any hope of occupying the same spot was almost immediately ruled out when Pop's grieving brother, Obasi Jackson, came at him for what he viewed as a blatant attempt to hop on the wave.
Pop died. Niggas took Pop from us too soon. So niggas is trying to figure out who the next Pop. But little do niggas know, there is no next Pop. There is nobody could sound like him. Y'all could take word for word, but there's a vibe, there's a blessing that came with Pop Smoke that
Pop Smoke just makes you wanna
eat. You feel me? That ain't my mission right now. My mission is saying, yo, if you are one of those people that sound like Pop, find your own style. Because it will come to a point where it will have to end. My thing is just that, yo, bro, I'm not
That's a
saying
good point.
you're trying to hear knockoffs. You feel me? Like we want to hear the real deals. But if you're trying to copy Pop Smoke, there's no benefit to that.
And initially, it seemed like the man to fill the hole left by Pop was Pop himself. Courtesy of the shady businesses of posthumously released records, he would secure a #1 album with Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon. Initially,
Amazing.
the project was met with a lot of enthusiasm and felt like a fitting encapsulation of everything the young artist was about, particularly because it was put together by people who truly cared,
Cold.
such as 50 Cent.
This is why I respect 50 Cent, man.
Aren't necessarily doing it for the same reasons I'm doing it. Being in there invested in financial.
Yeah, you ain't taking no bread from this. Yeah.
I don't care. I'm doing it only based on the culture and what I would in my relationship with boxing. That's it. You see what I'm saying? So if you go, I wouldn't be working with these people. You see what I'm saying? So I don't have to develop the relationship to do something that I would like to do for Pop Smoke. As soon as I know that the record is positioning itself as #1, I feel like I did enough.
But while Pop's first
You accomplished the mission.
album was praised, the follow-up Faith was almost universally panned, seen as a corporate cash-in. Pop's manager Steven Victor caught backlash, and even Pusha T was denounced for promoting his own album on what was supposed to be Pop's project. Rowdy Rebel, calling out the label directly, wrote, "Shaking my head, I don't understand why my boy is not on this track. You know these industry dudes is straight suckers." Pop's close friend and producer Mike D was also blindsided, admitting, "I had no involvement in my dog's album. Didn't even know an album was dropping until it got broadcasted on the internet. With no more unreleased music left in the vault, Pop's catalog ended on a sour note, and today, his name is more likely to appear in controversy. Like when Adam 22 gave a platform to
Wait,
Puppy,
what?
his name is
Rico Beats confirmed. Rico Beats confirmed.
more likely to appear in controversy, like when Adam 22 gave a platform to Pop's killers. One of them, Blockstar, even explained why the trigger was pulled, saying it was simply because things were getting out of hand.
No one was intended to get hurt that night. Nobody's intended to get hurt. I know we was just kids being kids from the hood, and too much movement from everybody in the house. Too much shit going on. It was too much shit going on. So it's like it wasn't intentional."
As for his recently granted release, Blockstar had
So,
no argument when it
more
came
than
to
one
questions of whether
nigga
he should still
shot
be
him.
inside.
They right. I did get off too lightly.
California be like that now.
But yeah, that's how it is, California. Well, I mean, I can't say what I wish happened to me, but honestly, I wish on nobody.
But perhaps most shockingly of all, he also refused to say sorry for what happened. Now elevated to legend status, the sad thing when it comes to Pop is that if he was still around, then New York drill might be in far better health than it currently is. Cause while some of the modern stars possess elements of what he had, they can't seem to be able to join up the dots. And a prime example of that comes in the form of a man who was actively co-signed by Pop.
Favi?
He's about to pull
or
up
Lil Favi, I knew it.
That record's crazy.
Foreign.
Yeah, Fabio Foreign.
I told y'all.
Okay.
Favi.
I seen he just got the deal too.
He not with us. He not with them.
He's cold.
Right. But he
labeled up, but he with us.
Fact.
Yeah. You understand?
Fact.
It's like hard.
Exploding onto the scene with breakout hits like Big Drip,
Big Drip
people could be forgiven for assuming that Fabio Foreign emerged fully formed as a star in the making. But in actual fact, the Brooklyn MC who was signed to Mace's Rich Fish label had previously rhymed under the name Light Fabio. And even as he initially garnered success, the long-standing mystery over his age became a meme. Despite claiming he was around the same age as his teenage contemporaries, the 2011 video for Boss resurfaced, with Fabio appearing way back when drinking alcohol and being extensively tatted up. And from then on out, people struggled to take anything he said about his age or background at face value.
How to change him, how to grow up instantly. I mean,
okay, like how old were you at the time?
I was, what year is this now? 2020? It's not 4 years ago?
2016.
I was 4 years ago. No,
2000.
Now it's 2020, right?
Yeah.
That was 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Yeah, so 4 years, for 4 years, I was I got signed for the past year, but after that.
Bros, you just told them how old you were. Yeah, man, you can tell why people don't believe you.
I guess so, I still had the dread for a little while, because they can't kick you right out. But then, I've been outside.
He's trying to calculate what age he should say.
I mean, I just call outside. I was outside.
He's trying to make sure he says the right number.
You were working at White Castle
in high school, like 9th grade.
Okay.
9th, one of them grades. I was working with my girlfriend at the time.
He said Chief Keef influenced him to rap, but this was 2011. Fabio always asked the year because he got to do the math to figure out what age he should be. He's like 30 and keep it moving. 30? He's like 40. Despite the doubts, Fabio pushed forward. And in the wake of Pop's passing, many
doesn't look too old.
carry New York drill.
I mean, black don't crack.
Came with Kanye West. His feature on Off the Grid led to another album.
We off the grid.
That project opened at number 9 with 29,000
cold album.
Respectable, but nowhere near the momentum Pop once had. Since then, Fabio hasn't charted, and his 2023 EP Without Warning landed with barely a ripple. Instead, he's becoming an easy target for trolling. Whether it was beefing with Blackboy Max alongside Lil TJ, or getting a Timberland boot tattoo that felt less like a proud nod to New York street culture and more like pure cringe. This dude gets older and dumber every year. The public's growing disrespect is only part of the story. Like many of his peers, Fabio also ran into serious legal trouble. On New Year's Day in New Jersey,
I rate Fabio so much, man.
During a parking dispute, he was hit with multiple charges, including weapons possession, aggravated assault, and
like Fabio's cold. Like
a guilty plea for terroristic threats cut his time down to 196 days served, sparing him a long sentence. Since then, Fabio has kept working, but it hasn't really added up to much. And while he still has his freedom, plenty of other New York drill stars never even got the chance to see how far their careers could go, because instead of studios, they're stuck in cells. One of the brightest examples is K Flock. Among the many drill prospects now behind bars, none
we got a studio on lock.
Allegedly tied to the 700 devs, the YGs, and his own crew, the OGs, K spent much of his youth in and out of juvenile detention, and it was there where he first started rapping. Pushed by his friend and mentor B-Love, K began dropping tracks that quickly caught fire. Songs like Opspada and PSA pulled in tens of millions of streams, and with a Lil TJ cosign, his buzz exploded. By late 2021, Capitol Records had signed them to a deal rumored to be around $3 million. But just 1 month after releasing the acclaimed DOA tape, his career came to a halt. K was arrested in connection with the killing of a 24-year-old by the name of Oscar Hernandez, a case that's remained murky ever since. Early reports claim K walked into a barbershop, antagonized Hernandez, and sparked a shootout. But K has always said it was self-defense. After he turned himself in, surveillance footage surfaced showing Hernandez actually following K outside. Evidence his legal team says supports the claim he acted to protect himself.
Okay. I thought it was gonna be something else. Bro, goddamn.
And no matter how much time passed, his lawyer has never wavered in the argument either.
Apparently about Kevin.
Okay. So without saying too much, you're arguing obviously self-defense. That's the crux.
You know, that could be one of the arguments, self-defense. And I would say to the public, you know, somebody's walking up to you with a loaded, it's pretty clear he's going to use it, with a criminal record a mile long. Do you want to get or do you not want to?
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't hesitate.
For a long time, the future looked grim for him, with academics claiming in February 2023 that the feds just unsealed an indictment on K Flock for a RICO charge and murder. The mandatory minimum if he doesn't beat those charges or snitch is life.
Minimum
He's
is
still
life.
facing state charges of murder
God
and have him locked up.
damn.
Now facing a long list of charges, K Flock's trial began in May, and the fate of his co-defendants offered a grim preview of what could come his way. Most of those alongside him took plea deals to avoid life sentences or worse. Zay Muna and Nick B were handed 15 and 12 years, while Eroy received 138 months, over 11 years, for pleading guilty to attempted murder and racketeering. Even with all that, K has stayed optimistic, insisting that he'll be free soon.
Hey yo, like, I'll be back real soon. Shout out to my fans and my supporters, man. I love all y'all, man. For all of you.
When he comes back, what type of music is he gonna make though? Because New York drill ain't New York drill no more.
Rather than being silent, Flock has remained active online from behind bars. Recently, he blew the whistle on the Essex County Correctional Facility where he's being held. claiming that they are currently giving out molded food, which was causing inmates to throw up blood and feel weak. Then he discussed his predicament, declaring that the feds hit me with a RICO and labeled me a chief. But despite his protests and all the debate around the case, K-Flock was found guilty and is now looking at 20 years in the pen. With that, another budding career was extinguished before I got the chance to get off the ground. But sometimes an artist has already made tracks towards genuine stardom, only for their long-standing ties to the streets to come back and ruin it all. Sadly, this is where the story of Casanova lies, a famed MC who was once a Celeste of A$AP Rocky, Cass, who'd become synonymous with the untouchable gorilla Stone Nation Bloods, didn't actually join a gang till he was serving time in a juvenile detention center.
I turned blood in jail, you know what I'm saying? Because I started fighting them so much that they was like, man, you down, man. Come on. All right, we hear you. You ain't even Crip, you blood. And again, you fight for your cookies. There was little stuff like that. That was the trials and tribulations, like the getting punched in the face at a young age. Like, oh my gosh. Like, you like...
Even with moving out of the country, Casanova built momentum and eventually signed with Jay-Z's Rock Nation, determined to prove someone like him could make it. I'm not a GOAT, but I'm hope. He told Revolt in 2019, I'm a prime example of you could do it. A lot of rappers are silver spoons,
motivation.
they're not who they say they are. They really didn't go through the mud. I'm proof that you can be incarcerated, come home, and change your life around. By then, he knew the streets weren't where he belonged anymore, and he needed to realign his priorities if he wanted the success he'd been chasing.
Did I see Nicki Minaj?
Realign his life around. If he wanted the success he'd been chasing.
If the people that signed me don't want me in their establishment, being tough ain't cool.
Right.
They don't want that. You know what I'm saying? And you know, other labels might
See, that's a smart nigga right there.
artists to wild out and troll and do whatever they gotta do to get the artist lit, but Rock Nation ain't with that. They like, I'm happy I'm there because they kind of like babysitting me. You know what I'm saying? So I just, at the end of the day, I don't want to be tough. I don't want that. I don't want that stigma because you can't get no money.
But as his star grew, it appears he didn't fully let go of his gang ties, as he was indicted in 2020 alongside members of the notorious untouchable gorilla Stone Nation. In the RICO case, members of the crew were accused of everything from firearm possession
Everything is crazy.
to distribute narcotics. From the outset, Cass declared that he was innocent and that it was his status as a high-profile figure in hip-hop that led to these charges being unjustly leveled against him.
As you already know, I'm fighting serious charges right now, but I'm innocent. That's one. Two, I've been fighting my whole life, so I'll get through this. Just understand how they can get you jammed up. You don't know nobody, you ain't got nothing to do with nothing, and they still get you jammed up. Rappers, we are a target. Just be careful out there. Watch who you associate with. Watch who people bring you around. I'll see y'all soon, God willing.
But after initially going on the run, Cass was subject to a nationwide manhunt. Then in December of that year, he turned himself in. His wife, Swaggy Jazzy, actually documented his surrender on IG, with Cass promising that he would be home sooner than she thought. Once behind bars, Cass's lawyers put together a $2.5 million bond package, even offering 5 properties as collateral, but the judge denied it, citing him as a flight risk after his earlier attempt to outrun the law. Prosecutors then built their RICO case.
If you're innocent, why are you running?
Posts showing guns and marijuana to wiretap conversations with his gang leader. In the end, they had more than enough to throw the book at him. And the wild part is, Cass had openly talked about how situations like this usually play out.
You go to the feds for fucking RICO, and they offer you 20 years and you're a millionaire. You're telling.
Facing a possible life sentence, Cass was thrown into solitary for 4 months,
Damn.
isolated into a windowless cell to pressure him into cooperating. Eventually, he took a plea deal. While there's no evidence he snitched, Cass admitted to moving between 100 to 400 kilos of marijuana and playing a role in a 2020 Florida shooting, among other crimes. In a last attempt at leniency, he wrote to the judge, claiming he only leaned on gang ties
Emotional letter to judge.
but it wasn't enough. He was handed 15 years.
It's not the worst scenario.
Crew would soon come back to haunt him. Not long after entering prison,
Damn.
Nova was stabbed.
These internal reports from correction officers say Senior was slashed
Did he snitch though?
another inmate.
He just snitched on himself,
And then
basically.
chased him down with the help of others. We spoke with one officer who responded to the scene.
Inmate Lugo, you couldn't see his face because he was saturated in blood. You couldn't see it at the time because his whole face was saturated in blood and his whole uniform was saturated in blood. Inmate Senior was sitting there and blood was just coming out of his face.
The stabbing came after Cass publicly declared he was no longer repping the gang. In
Oh,
retaliation,
okay.
inmate Ulysses Lugo slashed his face.
Okay, that makes
Cass and
sense.
others fought back, leaving Lugo needing stitches. Afterward, Cass tried once more to gain release from prison, but his requests were denied. Despite all of his potential, his story shows how past ties can block the path to a new life. But not every drill rapper's fate has been the same. Some have managed to dodge their charges.
Sleepy Hollow.
One of those is Sleepy Hollow. Alongside Chef G, he's been a staple of New York drill for years, dropping hyped tracks, and helping spark Doechie's anxiety after sampling her Swamp Sessions version long before the official release.
Sleepy, you kind of had
What
a
is it?
moment recently. Anxiety got a whole new set of legs.
Yeah, that was crazy.
How did you find that sample in the first place?
I was scrolling. I seen her freestyle it first, and I'm just like, yo, and then my man sent it to me. And I was like, bro, I was just listening to this.
This guy's got a good voice.
So fire. So I took her hook part, the anxiety part. I already had a song called Anxiety before, because that's like, I just loved speaking about that topic. That's how that came out. Sent it to John. He did the beat. We just went crazy.
Now,
yeah, shout out to Doechie too. Gangsta.
Type, does it trip you out seeing how even she's blown up, and now that song, as of the recording of this interview, that original sample just charted number 10.
Yeah, she did that. So I feel like it just be about the shit that people don't talk about. You know, anxiety is one of them things. So when somebody do speak about it, it's like fire, because mad people go through it. Yeah, shout out to her.
And while his album sales
True
haven't
that.
to blockbuster numbers, he's consistently fared quite well in that arena. Or at least he did until 2024's Read This When You Wake Up, basically vanishing without a trace. Sleepy's latest project may not have produced a hit on the level of Two Sauce or Murder, She Wrote, but at least he isn't locked up. In 2023, he and longtime collaborator Chef G were swept up in a massive RICO case targeting gangs in Flatbush and Crown Heights. They were among 32 people named in a 140-count indictment that tied the group to 12 shootings and even a murder caught on camera. Sleepy was charged with conspiracy to commit murder and gun possession, but avoided jail after posting a hefty bail. Since then, he's kept dropping heat alongside Chef G, and above all, he remains as uncompromising as ever, with his unresolved case still hanging over his head. But where he's still able to forge ahead, his rhyming partner hasn't been so lucky. Although initially released on a huge cash bail, Chef G wound up pleading guilty to attempted murder, but ultimately received a little leniency because there was little evidence linking him to that specific crime.
Counts of second-degree attempted murder and second-degree and fourth-degree conspiracy. The DA had asked for 20 years, but Brooklyn Supreme Court Justice Danny Chun gave Williams 5 years behind bars plus 5 years post-release supervision, explaining, quote, I take into account consideration that you are not alleged with shooting anybody, not alleged to actually being the person who shot at or
Come on,
the
man.
shooting, and that is very important in my opinion. Chef says he first joined a gang at the age of 12 and understands people might find that shocking, but in certain neighborhoods like his, you were assumed to be gang affiliated because of what street you grew up on.
Now facing a 5-year bid, the Trapper has been very candid about both his music
The Trapper,
and
what?
upcoming sentencing in recent interviews.
It's always going to be tough, you know what I'm saying? That's something very hard to prepare for, but it's like you build and you build and you
Bro, you see New York niggas with deep voices.
people in place, and you just hope for the best.
Now on the brink of spending years behind bars, Chef recently saluted his girl as the time turning himself in gets closer. With Chef G and Casanova behind bars, many of drill's early innovators have been forced out of the spotlight. Others tried to step in, but for rappers like C Blue, the same traps of the streets came back to haunt them. Born Cameron Williams in the Bronx, C Blue
Bro,
wasn't always
can they talk about 41? Who's C Blue?
In high school, he played sports and even dreamed of being a biochemist. Music, he later
Word.
admitted, was more about securing the bag than being a lifelong career. But after catching a gun charge at 14, he leaned harder into hip-hop. His breakout hit Ozone put him on the map, leading to collabs with K-Flocked and 26AR, and eventually a major deal with Interscope. That advance money would prove useful sooner than expected. One night, outside a Bronx bodega, cops confronted him. When he refused to take his hands out of his pockets, a scuffle broke out. Then, a gun went off, leading both C Blue and Officer Kasim Pennant shot in the leg. Blue was immediately arrested on assault and weapons charges. Afterwards, he told fans in a statement, "Believe nothing you read and half of what you see. My day ones know what it is. My label and loyal fans are standing by me through this." Although police accounts spread quickly in the media, C Blue would later explain what he says really happened that night.
The real story is I was shot by the police. You feel me? A lot of people troll, say I shot myself. No, it's not what happened. The police shot me.
How's a nigga gonna shoot
Walking
himself?
to my vehicle, regular going in my car. I was approached. I stopped. I asked the officer, like, what's the issue? Why do you want to talk to me? Why am I being stopped? He didn't answer my questions. He just proceeded to put his hands on my body, and he ended up firing a weapon that ended up hitting me. I personally don't know. Like, he went to grab and a shot got fired. I got hit in my leg and his partner got grazed.
C Blue's team argued he was targeted because he was a drill rapper. After the incident, he was released on $250,000 bail, money reportedly coming from his Interscope advance. That move outraged critics who wanted to see him behind bars. NYPD Police Benevolent Association President Patrick Lynch declared, "The people of the Bronx won't be safe as long as he's on the bench." The individual chose to carry illegal guns twice. He chose to fight with and shoot a New York City police officer. There's no reason to believe he won't do the exact same thing when he's out on the street tonight. Though tried as an adult at first, the case shifted from Bronx Supreme Court to family court before eventually being dropped. Despite widespread belief that he had a gun, the judge ruled that the arresting officer's testimony was useless. It was inconsistent with the video. It was inconsistent with his fellow officer's testimony. It was self-serving. It had no value. Police unions blasted the decision, with Lynch calling it an absurd outcome that should outrage every New Yorker who wants to get illegal guns off our streets. Yet, despite everything,
how about you just get all guns out of the
he
streets?
doesn't hold bitterness towards the cops.
I don't have nothing against the police. I appreciate the things they do that are good.
Fair enough.
But I feel that they definitely do target drill artists a little bit more than the average guy because of the things we say in our music. But not everyone who says something lives by those codes and walks around doing those things. But because music is art, so everyone is saying these things to reach a different audience.
C Blue's issues with the NYP didn't end there. In September 22, while sitting in a Hyundai, cops spotted a handgun under the front passenger seat. After a tense standoff, he was then taken into custody and held on a $100,000 bond. His lawyer, Don Florian, insisted he was innocent. My client was outside a car. Police came with their guns out, circling around the block. There's plenty of surveillance footage. Police targeted my client, guns drawn. He was scared for his life. He took out his phone. His hands were up. At the time, Blue was reportedly just trying to call his mother. At the hearing, prosecutors even used his social media and music against him, despite it being artistic expression. Still, C Blue has stayed focused on his craft, recently collaborating with KK Spin and LJGZ, and continuing to rap about the street life, even dissing dead ops and threatening rivals. But if history has shown anything, it's that blurring the line between rap and reality rarely ends well. For New York drill,
talk about 4-1 and how they've evolved the sound.
Leads to either a jail cell or a gravestone.
Come on, man. Oh well, still a good video regardless, because Louaista don't miss, you get me? Like, comment, subscribe, keep showing love. I'm saying on the road to 100 subs as we speak, 2026. If you thought 2025 was good, 2026 finna be next level. I'm saying 2025 was like amazing in different ways, was the start of a lot of things, the fall of a lot of things, but more positive than negative, and then 2026 will be growth. I'm gonna go so crazy, man. And man, I love you lot. I'm saying stay safe, stay woke, never go raw.